Before this class, I was certainly aware of the immense oppression Native Americans have faced at the hands of the white supremacist U.S. government. I knew about the land theft and genocide that had taken place. However, I didn't know a lot about the contemporary oppression of Native Americans. This class on feminist theories and gender and health has introduced me to the ways that reproductive injustice, specifically sterilization, plays a part in the systemic oppression of Native American women. One way Native American women's reproductive rights have been violated is through government-provided sterilizations. The report released by the Government Accountability Office, which studied 4 Indian Health Services facilities in Aberdeen, Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Oklahoma City, found that about 6.2% of Native American women of childbearing age were sterilized in the 1970s. However, independent research conducted by Native Americans, including Choctaw Cherokee physician Connie Pinkerton Urie in Oklahoma, and by Cheyenne tribal judge Maurice Sanchez in the Northern Cheyenne Reservation, estimated this number to be higher nationwide, based on their interviews with women in their communities. The IHS violated guidelines set by the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, including performing sterilizations on those under 21 and improper forms that didn't indicate if patients gave truly informed consent. The operations were done under suspicious circumstances, like right after C-sections when women were sedated or in pain, and some consent forms were even signed after the procedure occurred. Many women also thought the procedures were reversible. Cultural attitudes of the time were likely responsible for the abuse. The mostly white, male doctors were concerned with overpopulation and welfare. However, as Elena Gutierrez said in her study of Mexican origin women, the issue of welfare and overpopulation were immutably tied to larger questions of citizenship and of who was rightfully deserving of social benefits such as medical care. Just as Mexican origin women were targeted for their higher birth rates, so were Native American women. Doctors took personal responsibility in addressing overpopulation and targeted marginalized communities for sterilization because they didn't think Native Americans could use other birth control. Native Americans were also targeted because some thought that there were already too many minority groups becoming radicalized, like the American Indian movement, and causing trouble for the country and using up welfare. These attitudes and the resulting sterilizations had a devastating impact on Native American communities, especially women. For many Native women, including radical activists, reproduction was viewed as something sacred, and a way to help undo the centuries of Native American genocide. With this capability gone, many women were left with strained personal relationships and struggled with depression and other mental health problems. Some women described being left by male partners because they weren't real women anymore without their uteruses. Others also struggled to care for their living children. The sterilizations have an impact today as there is still a slight distrust of the IHS amongst Native Americans, even though there are more Native healthcare providers. The reproductive abuse of these women shows how Native Americans are still oppressed by the government. I realize now that anti-Native racism has sustained itself throughout American history by taking on many forms. However, even in the face of continuing oppression, Native Americans remain resilient in their activism, and I am inspired because I hope to embody this commitment to justice in my future work as a health professional.